Last week, I recorded a 20+ minute reading vlog, and I was editing it on Tuesday and Wednesday of this week when I realised it was complete and utter garbage, and thus you won't be seeing that video. Hi everyone, my name is Charlie, and today I apologise if I end up sounding like some sort of wheezy, snotty Weight Watcher. For one thing, I don't think Weight Watchers exists anymore, not in the form that it was when I left, and it's just allergies. Anyway, we're a minute in now, and I've said nothing, but isn't that just the way with these videos? I was at the petrol station not 10 minutes ago and paying, and luckily the woman said to me, "Would you like your receipt?" Because I was not present. I had disappeared somewhere inside my own little head and completely forgotten that I happened to be at a petrol station. This could also be due to the fact that I did not get much sleep last night. I went to bed at what is a usual hour for Charlie, 11 o'clock, simply because I wanted to watch Bob's Burgers. Also, I'd ended up, for whatever reason, in the doldrums. I don't know why. I got home, I watched RuPaul's Drag Race, is, you know, how I spend most of my Friday nights, watch Untucked. And then, I don't know, I started watching YouTube videos and liking, commenting, that fun stuff. Didn't get through many booktube videos, so I know there are definitely videos there that I still have to watch. Dane, I'm talking to you. Mal of Mal's Book Clan Adventures, you. There's plenty more. There are plenty of people who've been supportive of this channel over the last 4 years, whose videos I've slowly declined in watching, which I'm quite sorry about. But that's a different story. That's a story about support, and we can save that for later. We're currently talking about the doldrums last night. Sometimes I have nights where I just end up listening to music, not necessarily sad music, but music. And I went through 3 hours worth of music last night. And I don't even know why, because it's not depressive music, it's not sad music. There's some music in there that makes me think about the meaning behind it and feels somewhat powerful, but otherwise, yeah. And I realised that I was just feeling the tiniest bit worn out, sad, and I used to get like this with my friend Lindsay years and years ago, and it wasn't until years later that she actually told me she'd worried about me at the time. And this led to me realising that sometimes I just get overtired, and an overtired Charlie is a sad Charlie. But I don't think I was overtired, because when I went to bed I did not sleep. Well, I did sleep eventually, but I left the light on for my sister who hadn't got home, and then I went down to switch that off because I couldn't sleep, and wouldn't you have it, she walked into the house at that moment, so I looked like a twit. And then I still couldn't sleep, and so I closed my bedroom door despite the fact that I get severe claustrophobia, but I just could not sleep. And then when I eventually slept, I awoke. And when I awoke, it felt as though I'd only fallen asleep a minute before. And it was awful. And now I'm at work. And I'm at work for the next 8 hours. And we all know Charlie can't sleep during the day. It's one of those many faults that I have. Many faults. And so I won't be seeing my bed again until this evening. Which means I will be spending this day hyped up on caffeine, and then hoping that I can reduce my caffeine intake when I get home so that I can actually get some rest tonight. Anyway, wasn't that nice? Don't you love when I talk about my insomnia? In fact, I don't even know whether it counts as insomnia. What counts as insomnia? Are you supposed to have not slept for the entire night? Because I used to have nights like that, but it's a different discussion, isn't it? Again, it's a good job that I call these videos Woolgathering, because we're going all over the place today. I was going to talk about some books that I've read recently, you know, because I didn't actually end up showing the reading vlog to you, but now I just can't be bothered and you can wait until my wrap up. But this week, I finally read Fool's Quest by Robin Hobb. I believe that this book was actually out when the Hobbalong started back in 2016. And Lord, this was epic is the only word I can think of. And I believe it's epic fantasy anyway. Or high, I don't think it's high fantasy. I don't know these terms. It's a subgenre or a genre, or anyway, it's there, it exists, it was fantastic. I thought it was going to be a bit slow to get moving, and then from page 200 onwards, it was like, you were there, or you were being left by the wayside, because the Lord does that book move quick, eventually. I suppose you can all guess how I've been spending my week after my announcement last Friday. No, it was last Saturday, because I didn't find out till Friday. Also, I just realised I might be wearing the same jumper a week later. You know, fashion icon over here. Flaming heck. But yes, I have been working on the Doris novella still. I really hope to get that out to you all, you know, once it's edited. My mother still wants to read it. My mother has actually gone longer than anyone else without having to read, without getting to read Our Doris, because she's the one who finished reading it first. Then we have Lindsay, but I don't think Lindsay actually cares. I oftentimes feel like a terrible friend because I'm just throwing work at her through the ether in the hopes that she'll be kind to me. And then, you know, there's the people there who I throw Doris at anyway, whether they want to read it or not. So once I finished it, she'll read that. But at the moment, I'm really questioning how cantankerous the characters are being. I mean, I was even shocked for myself. For some reason, this story started dealing with fat phobia and fat shaming and bullying and therapy, and I didn't mean for the story to go there when I first planned it, because I planned this book, 5 years ago nearly? With certain aspects that have changed, but I always knew where the second Doris book was gonna end up. So, well, no, that's a lie. That is a lie. I just remembered, Charlie, you're lying to yourself here. You're bullshitting people. Right, so the novella that I'm writing, I knew that was going to happen. However, I didn't know that it was going to be in this form, because I thought that Doris 2 would end the complete opposite way to it, the way that it ended. So if you've read it, here's a little sidebar for you. Side note. If you've read the end of Indisputably Doris, then you will see how some things turn out between Doris and the WI. Originally, the thing that happens in the final chapter of that book was going to turn out in favour of the person who ends up... Yeah, it was going to turn out the opposite way to what I'd written it. I didn't know how to verbalise that, but yeah, it was going to... What happens there, it wasn't originally going to be that way. And then halfway through, I don't know whether to actually say this. Whilst I was it can't have been whilst I was writing it. Anyway, it was something to do with me seeing about Hillary Clinton losing an election, and things weren't going the way people wanted them in the public eye, and hit by a sudden surge of inspiration and reading the way that the book, well, writing the book and realising how it was going, as well as all these things going on in the world, I realised, actually, Charlie, that's the wrong ending. And as soon as I realised the ending we were heading for, it clicked everything else into place. Which is why this story ended up changing, but the overall ideas in the chapters within the novella have remained the same. So we do have the mystery of who this woman is, and we have some sort of dance competition. So I didn't expect fat phobia to be there. And then we have the third book. And I thought I knew where the third book was going to go. However, in my most recent plans as I've been writing them, things have changed. I don't know why I'm calling it the third book, because we should be calling it the fourth book now, shouldn't we? Beggar it. So, the third Doris book, the actual proper tome that is going to come out at some point, when I eventually start writing it, if I start writing it, it's going to be the final book to feature Doris. I want it to be a nice ending for the characters. I mean, I won't be tying up like tons of loose ends, and some loose ends I have created myself from actually reading these books for the last 5 years and thinking, you mentioned this relative here, are they important? You mentioned, you've got a misspelling here, Charlie. Could you do something with that? And so some stories in here have appeared because of my mistakes and some continuity errors. And this whole story of the third book, the final Doris story, for now, I don't know why I say for now, I never want to reach the point that these characters no longer seem like the way that they did. I want them to go on a journey, and I think that the main journey will end with this book. However, I've had ideas for some sort of celebratory books in future. However, I did have the realisation that Harold might be 80 next year. And in terms of 2020, the Doris books haven't got there yet. In fact, I can't even imagine where they're set at the moment, because I think that Doris 2 might have finished in April 2016, which would mean the Doris novella was happening mid to late 2016, and then this book was going to be the next book would be 2017. But that also can't be right. Trust me, I've been trying to create a timeline in my head for these books for ages. I even wrote it down at one point just to try and figure out where certain things would fit in. It's a problem because there's some sort of non-linearity. I can't speak today, but there's certain aspects of this story that aren't linear, and it's the way the story starts. He always starts in the present, then goes back, and sometimes he'll be talking in the present, because the characters are actually alive. It's not like they've died, so you have to. It's a minefield inside my head at the moment, and it doesn't help with not sleeping. I said I'd be rambling today. I'm not sorry about it. Anyway, working on the Doris novella each day. I don't know how long it's going to take me to finish writing, because I started having these characters started having a conversation on Wednesday, and we're now Saturday, and they're still having the same conversation. I'm not making much headway because of certain things. I told you I listened to Fool's Quest. Well, I read and listened to Fool's Quest on Thursday to finish the book. I didn't intend to finish the book, but I started listening to it because I had a lot of stuff to get done. I was walking into town, And I just ended up with like an hour left to listen to at the end of the day, so I thought, well, you may as well listen to it. And then I read the end because I feel like there's something final about reading the end of a book, as opposed to listening to it on audiobook. Just for my own liking, sometimes, as we know, I do just listen to an audiobook fully because I don't have the physical book there. But yeah. I've also designed the cover. I need to find the font for that. Because as we know, I have a new computer and that doesn't have the font I want on it, but I think I might have accomplished it. I just have to check. Anyway, why don't you tell me about your writing, because we're 16 minutes now and I think I'm going to end the video here. I didn't talk about half the things I thought I'd talk about today, but honestly, I don't think my mind is inside my head at the moment. Or something similar. You know, like, you just don't feel present. Yeah, I've been daydreaming a lot during this video. I've been all over the place, this way, that way, forwards, backwards, Irish Sea, all that fun stuff, Constantinople, Istanbul, Arabian Nights, like Arabian Days. Do you remember the Aladdin TV show? Fan-bloody-tastic. Anyway, yes, do tell me what you were writing, what are you reading? If you actually got anything out of this video, because Lord, it was, yeah, it was there. I hope you got something from this video, and until next time, that is all.